is Rodney Sousa. My rank was Spec 4. In the military, I had 2 MOSs. My primary MOS, which is main MOS, was 31M20 Radio Relay Carrier Attendant, Signal Corps. And my secondary MOS was Command Sergeant Major's Driver. That's basically what I ended up doing my ending years in the service in Germany. My time was essential to him. I was exempt from all formations, which made a lot of my GI friends kind of jealous of me, because I also had my own vehicle. I walked by the formations because my time was crucial to the Sergeant Major. I reported straight to him, the battalion. And then what I was going to be doing in active duty, which is your training for my MOS, Fort Gordon, Georgia. And then from there, I went to, I was ordered, my orders said report to Germany, Frankfurt, Germany, and that's where I did the remainder of my time until I ETS'd at Fort Dix, exited the service.
Okay, and for your basic training, how difficult was that? What was the process like?
It was hard.
Really hard?
Because you were called a trainee, and they would come right up, get off my bus, you damn trainees. And you were.
It was very intense.
And they would just try to break you down. You know, you were civilian, you did whatever you did out in civilian life, and now they were showing you what service was going to be like.
What was it like to be away from your family from serving all that time?
It was, at first it wasn't bad, but after a while, you know, you're going to get a certain amount of missing your parents and your home and stuff like that, especially when you're overseas for years at a time.
Are there any memorable stories from your time in training or in the military that you can remember?
The only thing I remember, and I put it down on this paper here where it asks you about that. Any questions you'd like to be asked? And that's, they sent a CQ runner, he's more or less like an airman in service, down to me in the motor pool where I was TIing my vehicle, inspecting my vehicle that my radio rig was set on top of. And you went through inspection list, check the oil, your headlights work, brakes, stuff like that. And they sent a runner down to speak to tell me to come up and see the Sergeant Major, Command Sergeant Major. That's the highest you can go in enlisted men. Wow. So I started looking at my uniform and everything and said, oh my God, what have I done? You know, what's he want to see me for? And I went up there and he asked me the question that he went over my records, and he said I was pretty strapped, broke starch every Monday, and what I'd like to be his driver. Wow. His own personal driver. And I accepted it.
Was that like a great feeling, just knowing that you accomplished something and you weren't like in trouble?
It was a big relief.
Yeah.
And once I found that out, and these are some of the pictures here. This van was assigned personally to me, had my name right on the front of it.
Oh, wow.
These pictures are old. Keep in mind they're about 43 years old. You can see my name on that, Sousa, Spec 4 Sousa.
Yeah.
I had that done by the battalion artist. This was a sedan I sometimes drove that was there to pick up the colonel. I wasn't his driver, but if his driver was sick, it was my obligation to do that. But I drove that all over the German Autobahn, 12 lanes, no speed limit. So when I got back to the States, I had a heavy foot.
No speed limit, wow. So did you become, did you develop a pretty close relationship to the surgeon or anyone that you were driving?
Yeah. I did it for almost a year, and I would actually report to his office and spend time with him, and he would tell me, you know, I want you to go on this run today. We've got a court-martial run. Okay. Be sure to wear your Class A's, which was your dress uniform. Court-martial meant I had to load up a bunch of GIs in this vehicle and take them to court. They were being court-martialed for stealing a truck or drugs or whatever it was. There was a big drug problem over there. So whatever he might tell me, today I want you to go to S4, It's a big building that's got an office in it. I want you to take this paperwork up there and report back to me. So wherever he told me to go, that's what I did.
And you don't disobey orders ever?
No, you don't want to. You'd be in big trouble.
Yeah. And do you have any stories of what you remember from your worst day in service?
I'd say my worst day in service was when I first went in basic training. It was in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. It was 14 above. We had to qualify with the M16. It was a forced march, 11-mile march out to the firing range. Your fingers were so numb you couldn't even hardly pull the trigger. And then you got bused back, but it was a forced march out there. People were falling out of formation and throwing up because you had to wear carry your weapon, a backpack, whatever it called for, some combat gear and stuff like that. And it was a lot of stuff to carry for 11 miles. So I'd say that was my worst day.
Is there a story about someone you served with that you wish to share?
None that I can think of overall, no.
Do you keep in touch with anyone you were with?
I did start now, but I've been out of the service for 42 years.
Yeah.
Well, actually 41 yet. And I did it first, like I said, but now I don't, because they're all live out of state, different areas.
Mm-hmm. How do you think your time in the military has changed you?
Like I said before, I think it's made me a better man, better person from the experience of that, as far as, like I said, keeping your clothing straight, just teaching you how to present yourself. We all put on an act the minute we get out of bed every day. You're either acting like yourself, your mom. Some people are, they're lost, they don't know who they are yet, but you find out a lot about yourself in the service, being away from home. And the inspections that they have, teaching you to keep your clothes folded and ironed. It was a good experience, and I was a better man for it.
Yeah. And do you appreciate the way your life is now? Because we don't live where war is, and we live in a country where we are pretty much safe for the most part. So do you appreciate living here more after you've gone to war, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, for the most part. I mean, we're never 100% safe, even though we're right here. I mean, the way it is today with the problems we have with terrorists and stuff, there's just no way, as you plainly see, with the shootings in the schools, the Boston bombing on the Marathon.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as 100% guaranteed safe. There's too many people out there that can slip through the system, and so on. You guys know that.
Yeah. What was the first thing you did when you returned to civilian life? Do you remember?
I think the first thing I did was called my father, and he picked me up at the bus station, and just went home and reminisced about what I did in the service. Drank a beer or two with my father, who was also a veteran, World War II veteran.